war. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
You're hot.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the show. Fifth Street Soccer here on the Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Networks. I'm Nick Geber in the studio, very loud at a pub somewhere in Santa Monica is Nick Webster. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick. I'm actually in Venice Beach. It is a very joyous Venice Beach right now as the England fans celebrate a loss. Go figure.
Right, we're going to talk about that in some detail as well. The round of 16 is set. We have some of the odds courtesy of betanysports.eu. We're going to talk about those, folks. Who the bookies have as favorites to move forward, who we have as favorites to move forward. They may not always be the same. We're going to give you some team news from some of the camps and get you ready, get you set. Remember, the first knockout match, however, is not until Saturday. So tomorrow on the show, we're going to give you our picks for the Saturday match. Today, we're going to talk in a little bit more generality and give you our non-odds related picks to go through from the round of 16. You set for that, Nick Webster?
Oh, absolutely. I'm raring to go. I've been a World Cup junkie for the last 13 days, and now it's time for the business end of the tournament, the knockouts.
All right, folks. So let's do some housekeeping. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. You can find us on Twitter. That is at Fifth Street Sports. You can also find us on the web, www.fifthstreetsports.com. And if you'd like to chime in, we'd love to hear from you guys. I mean, the round of 16 is set. Let's hear from our listeners. Where are you listening to us on affiliates of the Sports Byline or SB Nation radio networks, iHeart, TuneIn? Give us a call in studio, 800-878-PLAY. That's 800-878-PLAY. We'd love to hear from you. How has the World Cup gone for you so far? What are the big surprises? Nick Webster, I can't wait to get into this with you. We got a full hour here. We're going to break this down. We're going to look. We're going to have a bit of a laugh, too, because there's some pretty funny things that have happened in the World Cup. Crazy. I mean, as in funny, peculiar, rather than necessarily funny, ha-ha. But we're going to get to that in a bit. All right, this is Fifth Street Soccer on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio. Nick Geber here, Nick Webster in Venice at a very loud pub. I will try to mute that during the breaks. And we'll be right back after these messages. You're clear. Andrew, you've got to mute him while he's not talking.
When
That's
working
way
at
too
a growing
loud.
business, you wear many hats. The new business
When
hat,
he talks,
the
his
buying
mic is
toner for the
automatically
copy
blocking
machine
the
hat,
background noise
the
out.
sifting through tons of
But when
resumes
he's not
hat.
talking, his mic
You
is
can throw
picking up
away
all the
that
background
last
noise.
hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a bright, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
And now, Valero's summer vacation driving tips. Keep these ideas in mind as you embark on your journey. A good tune-up may be just what you need for safety and peace of mind. Simple maintenance can prevent a dangerous and expensive breakdown on the road. If possible, take turns driving or grab a short nap. It can perk you up and allow you to be more alert while driving. Don't wait until you see low fuel to get gas. You don't want to get stuck in traffic or on a deserted highway with an empty tank. And now, a word from Valero.
We've all got places to go, from work to play. Morning to night, it's go, 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 and then go some more. We go for music, movies, workouts, and checkouts. It's quite the busy little schedule we've got going. And we need something to keep up with it all, to keep up with life on the go. That's where Valero top-tier certified quality fuel comes in. It keeps your engine running cleaner, better, and longer, so you can get right back to going. Find a station near you at valerocleangas.com.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline, USA, SB Nation Radio Networks. I'm Nick Geber, along with Nick Webster, and we have a lot to get to today as the World Cup is saying goodbye to the group stages, and now we're saying hello to the round of 16, single-match elimination. This is when all bets are off. This is when it gets very interesting. Anything can happen in one match. This is what makes the World Cup, quite frankly, so exciting. Nick Webster, I'd like to go back through some of our group picks. We did this a little bit yesterday. Everything sort of went as the bookies had predicted. Group A, Russia and Uruguay came out of that group in that order, and that was I believe as predicted, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon me, Uruguay came out first, and that was the order. It was Uruguay, Russia. That's what the bookies had it, and that's how it came. Group B, they had Spain coming out first, Portugal second. That's, in fact, how Group B ended up. Group C, they had France and Denmark in that order, and that is, in fact, how it came. Group D, however, got interesting. Group D, they had Argentina going first and Croatia coming second. In point of fact, that was reversed. Now, we told you at the time that we thought Croatia leading the group coming out tops at plus 220 was a good bet, and it turns out it was a spectacular bet because that is exactly what happened. In Group E, they had Brazil first, Switzerland second, and that's exactly what happened. In Group F, this is when it gets absolutely fascinating. Group F, they had Germany coming out tops, Mexico coming second. Now, we told you, don't rule out Sweden. We thought Sweden getting out of the group at plus 120 was an excellent bet. Now, in all fairness, we didn't predict that Germany would be the team that wasn't going out. We sort of suspected that Sweden would go out at the expense of Mexico. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and any way we can look good, Nick, I'm going to tout that. In fact, the truth is, obviously, Sweden came out first and Mexico came out second. And in Group G, Belgium, England in that order. That's what the bookies had. That's the way it was. This could have gone either way. We said there was a good chance England could come out tops at plus 115. Honestly, Nick Webster, I think if they'd wanted to, they could have.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a pure coin flip.
It was a pure coin flip. And Group H, another very interesting group. Colombia, Poland was the bookies' favorite. Colombia to get out and Poland to get out second. In point of fact, we said we thought Senegal might be a good bet to get out, and it was that way till literally the last dying moments of the group. It turns out Colombia and Japan, Japan, by the way, were plus 215 to get out of the group. Was a fairly good bet. But, you know, honestly, this Japanese team, Nick, has really impressed me. High work rate, efficient, very impressive.
Yeah, no, they've really excelled. And it's really interesting the way the groups have panned out, because it has turned this World Cup upside down. Had Argentina and Germany done what was expected, they will have all ended up in the bottom half of the draw, which would have made the bottom half so much more competitive. But right now, the bottom half looks wide open, while the top half is just this murderer's row of teams that have won the World Cup, who excel in the World Cup, and who have excelled in international football for the last 50 years. So Japan, unlucky for them, they go into that top half of the draw.
Well, but honestly, of all the teams that they could face in that half, whether it's Uruguay, Portugal, France, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, they're probably happiest to face either Belgium or Mexico out of that murderer's row.
Right. And, Belgium, I thought, in all honesty, looked very good today, considering they were playing what was a second-string team. And this Belgium team is beyond useful. And you already start prognosticating about who's going to come out of the round of 16. And Belgium, Brazil, all of a sudden looks like a real World Cup game that could live long in the memory.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get to this in some detail. I mean, one of the things now, England obviously on the bottom half of the draw, and maybe Andrew can put that up on the screen so people can see that if we can find it.
Oh, he hasn't. That lazy git. Nick, what are you doing with your production staff here?
I don't know. This is still old school during the group, so we'll get an updated one and put it up. But on the right side, we've got Colombia, England, Sweden, Switzerland, Croatia, Denmark, and Spain, Russia. Now, I heard some talk radio the other yesterday. I won't mention the network, but let's just say it's beamed in from outer space, talking about how Spain now had a clear path to the finals, and I'm thinking to myself, whoever said that, obviously, this is the same group of people that said we're wondering if Croatia really had world-class players or if they were just squad players. I like this Croatian team, Nick. I mean, Spain, for a team like England that's sitting the bottom half of the bottom of this bracket. Looking at all these big boys on the top half fighting each other out to get to the finals, and then on the other side of the bracket, on the lower end, looking at the really dangerous teams on the lower side of the bracket, namely Spain and Croatia, they get to fight each other out. So it's really, for a team like England or Colombia or Sweden or Switzerland, I mean, they're looking at this draw saying, this couldn't have worked out any better.
No, it is. If you're from that country, you're like saying the stars have aligned, the script has come in exactly how it should, and now all these countries are just thinking, is there a Hollywood ending in sight? And of course, I know you and I are hoping for that Hollywood ending, that's for sure.
Well, the thing I can say, the thing that's going to make me really smile a lot here, Nick, is that we are just about guaranteed, unless Spain go through a romp, and quite frankly, other than the first match against Portugal, Spain have not. They flattered to deceive. I mean, I don't think they look that good. We're going to get some new blood, or some blood we haven't seen in an awfully long time in the finals, in the finals here of the World Cup.
Yeah, no, quite possibly on the bottom half of the draw, we could have two semi-finalists that have never been this far before. Yeah. And that being the case, we're going to have a finalist that's never been in the World Cup final before. And for countries that haven't been there, or for countries that haven't been there in a long time, namely England, this is something new and different. And I don't think the pressures are the same on these teams as they are on for the likes of Argentina and Uruguay and France and Brazil.
So that was actually going to be the topic that we're going to get to in the next segment. Lots of questions. People have been asking me on Facebook. By the way, facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. I get that. I've been getting a lot of questions on Facebook about, what's going on? Why are Argentina in such trouble? What about, Germany, my goodness, what happened to them? Uruguay, they've struggled. France, what's happened to France? So I have some opinions, and I know, Nick, you do. We're going to express them in the next segment, but we would love to hear from you. Why do you think the big boys have struggled? And we're not just talking about the results that are coming on paper. Watch these teams. They are not looking very healthy. I think that's the best way to put it. I mean, it's like listening to a Ferrari engine sputtering and backfiring. You know, it's still there. It's still that Ferrari engine, but, you know, it's not running. It's not finely tuned. It's not efficient. We're seeing that with a lot of the big teams, Nick Webster. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. Very quickly, Nick, a bit of a snooze fest today for the matches. We'll talk about England separately, but the other matches were, quite honestly, one of the dullest days in the World Cup.
Well, dull, yes, but still full of drama. Obviously, Japan played out a bit of a rascal game against Poland. They went 1-0 down and then just passed the ball back and forth as soon as they heard Colombia went 1 up, which was a bit of a travesty, if you ask me. Senegal couldn't rise to the levels that they'd shown previously in the tournament, and a big disappointing tournament really for African teams. You know, they've really got to go back to the drawing board and think about what they need to do in the future. And Colombia doing just enough, but losing James Rodriguez to injury within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a massive blow, but also a huge benefit for England.
All right, we're going to go to break. We're going to pick up the discussion on the other side. This is Fifth Street Soccer Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. Nick Geber and Nick Webster. We'll be right back.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Well, welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. Nick Geber and Nick Webster. Give us a call in the studio. We'd love to hear from you. How is your World Cup going? What about the teams that you support? Are you surprised? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you crying? Are you drinking heavily? We'd like to hear from you. 800-878-PLAY. One man who certainly is drinking heavily right now is Nick Webster, who is in Venice. Had some nice bangers and mash, I think, this morning, and at the pub, right?
Larry's Bar in Venice Beach is it's quite the spot to take in the World Cup. Glorious sunshine, people walking around half naked, and really many people oblivious to the fact that England are in the second round of the World Cup for the first time since 2010.
Oh, absolutely. And Nick, today was one of those odd matches where Roberto Martinez, the manager of Belgium, made 9 changes to his squad or thereabouts. Still great players. I wouldn't say they were world beaters. Gareth Southgate made a number of changes to the squad. He also did not play Harry Kane, the talisman captain and #1 goal scorer in the World Cup right now so far. And you might ask yourself why. Well, obviously both of these teams are through to the round of 16. But it was one of these things where neither team really wanted to win this match, but they would never admit that. They wanted to look decent. They didn't want to put on a travesty or a sham or be ashamed of themselves or put on one of those performances. But by the same token, they were not in any great hurry to win the match. As it turns out, Belgium did win the match, and they will move on to face Japan, which of all of the opponents on that side of the bracket, Nick, is the easiest. Now, have seen Japan play. They're a very serviceable team, and they've made it to the round of 16, so much credit to them. But certainly a much better opponent than Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, France, Portugal, or Uruguay, which were the other options on that side. So, Nick, Belgium, I think, draws a short straw here.
Well, yes, they do, but within the same token, they've won 3 games in a row, and they've won really quite comfortably. You would imagine them to beat Japan, especially with their full squad. Martinez had the luxury of resting the likes of Eden Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne, and even their second-string team, in all fairness, was far too good for England. They created by far the better opportunities. Perhaps could have won the game even 2-0, 3-0, but for some heroic defending from the 3 Lions. So I think Belgium will be pretty happy with where they're at because such an important component of World Cup play. But as you mentioned, they do put themselves in the top half of the draw, and that does mean a potential quarterfinal with Brazil. And wow, Belgium-Brazil for a place in the semi-finals, it really doesn't get much better than that. And yes, that's me overlooking Mexico because I'm sure Brazil have far too much quality to lose to Mexico, and Belgium have far too much quality to lose to Japan.
Well, now let's talk about it, Nick, because we say that, but then you would have said, wow, Germany have far too much quality to exit the tournament. Argentina have far too much quality to have struggled as much as they have. France have far too much quality to have not strung together some really impressive results. Nick, some of this analysis that I've listened to has actually been fairly decent about this, and I've been reading a lot of the foreign press, and the discussion from top to bottom here has been you have big teams with big players that play in big club teams, and they are stressed and they are pushed during the season to play 60-plus games at least. If they're in the Champions League or in the Europa League or in the Copa Libertadores or whatever it is, and they go to the national team for the World Cup, and then all of a sudden they're tired, they're fatigued, and they're now under all this pressure from the media, from the press, from the fans back at home, from the Football Association. Everybody's just pressuring them. And for a lot of these players, I mean, it's too much. If you look at the teams that really have done well in this tournament, I'll use England as a great example because for the first time in living memory, England haven't been susceptible, haven't been a victim of that. The press have largely laid off England with very low expectations. And so they get out there and play football because they're just as tired. But they get to go out there and play football for the fun of it and enjoy the game and enjoy the experience and be with their teammates. Look, there's always pressure to win. Nick, how much do you think this external pressure has affected the big teams in this tournament?
Oh, I think it's a massive component. Expectations always weigh so heavily. And this is the first time I can remember in my lifetime that expectations for the England team have been as low as they are. So they're creating this really good feel-good factor. I think the expectations for Belgium, while they have this golden generation, haven't been through the roof. But then you look on the other side, and the expectations for Spain, Argentina, Germany, and Brazil. I mean, the pressure that these players are under is so intense,
Nick.
and I can't even imagine, striding out onto the field and feeling the weight of a country on your shoulders, and that's what these players are experiencing right now, and I think that's why we haven't seen the best of them yet. But what I will say, Nick, form is fleeting, class is permanent.
Yeah.
And I just can't help but think that Lionel Messi or Neymar, one of these guys has a great game in them.
Well, and also the pressure for the group stages, I think, is handled differently by the players than the pressures of the knockout rounds to a degree. And I do agree with you. I think the teams that we've seen struggling, let's name them: Argentina, Brazil, to a degree, Portugal, kind of. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo's been the guy that's driving that team forward. Certainly Spain, I think, haven't looked that great. France. These teams can put it together, and they likely will be much more likely to put it together on a one-off knockout round game than looking forward to 3 games in your group, of which probably one of the 3 are going to be totally useless. So there's a different mentality. But I think the one team that I think is under a lot of pressure that we don't talk about much is this French team. I mean, this is considered, we talk about the golden generation of Belgian players. This is a very young French squad with lots of young players that play in France and around Europe, and there is an enormous expectation within the country that these superstars are going to really perform, and that a certain Paul Pogba is going to be able to really come out of this World Cup wearing the crown of the new king. And that is a lot of pressure to put on these people. And I don't think players, particularly Pogba, who has an ego that's, this monumentally enormous, it can handle the failure that comes with not achieving those heights.
Well, I think some players really thrive on pressure, and I can't help but think of, Cristiano Ronaldo. When the pressure's at its highest, that's when Ronaldo really steps up. You mentioned that France have a really young team, and yes, they do. And, quite a few of them got to the final of Euros 2016 as the home nation. The pressure was too much for them there. Is the pressure going to be too much this time around? I'm not sure, Nick, because, they've barely got out of second gear in the group stage, and yet they top the group. And so there is so much more in the tank for this French team, I hate to play on stereotypes once again, but, should this French team start gelling, they could be very, very hard to stop. And obviously they're on a tough half of the draw. They are playing Argentina, but I can't help but think that Didier Deschamps, he's got too much smarts about him. They're going to take care of this Argentinian team who, despite getting that late heroic winner from Rojo, they're still a team in disarray, still a team looking for, I hate to say leadership because Messi's their spiritual leader, but on the field there needs to be more than Messi. And, I see France winning that round of 16 match.
Yeah, actually, I do too, Nick. And my reasons for that are the Argentinian team looks old and tired, and I think they may have spent themselves trying to get out of the group. And quite honestly, I believe this French team, Nick, they've been one of my teams I've talked a lot about in our analysis and discussion that have yet to perform. I mean, on paper, this team is mouth-watering, okay? This team is mouth-watering on paper. And I think at some point they're going to have to string a match together here. I would not be surprised if they deliver Argentina a very unfortunate day. And I'll tell you when that day is going to be, because that is the match, quite frankly, that I'm really, really looking forward to. And I do. It's Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday. That should be an absolutely terrific match. So if you take the pressure out of it, that's why a team like Croatia, I mean, within Croatia, everybody knows how good this team are, Croats. But the Croat press isn't exactly, some massive pressure machine that's pounding on this team. I still very much like Croatia to get out of that side of the group, to get out of the right side of the bracket. So we're going to talk about this when we come back, Nick. We're going to give some of our picks and prognostications, but we still have a couple of minutes left. very encouraging to see Japan in the round of 16. Really nice to see an Asian team make it through to the round of 16. I'm very disappointed that none of the African teams did, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a great point. Asia, Africa, it's really important for world football, not just for the World Cup, but for world football, that these nations start developing not only great national teams, but fantastic domestic leagues where their players are in demand throughout the hotbeds of well, let's be honest, European football. We want them to be exporting their top players, and right now it's not happening. And of course, their national teams are suffering as a result of that. But I really believe over the next 4 to 8 years, we're going to see a rise in Asian football. The Chinese government is pumping so much money into the sport, creating fields everywhere, bringing in coaches from abroad, that sooner or later, just because of the population, when you've got 1.5 billion people to choose from, you can't tell me that the next Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, is not hiding somewhere in Beijing or Shanghai, kicking the ball around right now. They just have to be nurtured and developed, and Asian football will see that. African football, as always, they flatter to deceive. They tease us. We keep on thinking this is going to be the year that's going to happen, and and every time they seem to flame out. So bad luck on Africa again.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to give you our picks for the round of 16 matches. Don't go anywhere. Edge of your seat stuff. We'll be right back.
Finding great... You're clear. Like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire. ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down, 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Well, welcome to Fifth Street Soccer on the Sports Byline USA SB Nation radio networks. I'm Nick Geber along with Nick Webster. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you. Also, wonderful to speak to all of our men and women in uniform on American Forces Network as well. A big hello to them. Hope they are enjoying the World Cup as much as we are here. I can honestly say this has been one of the most exciting World Cups I can remember. Anytime when the favorites are knocked out, when it's left to the last minute, it's always super exciting. The round of 16 is set. Nick Webster, the Bet and Sports have published the lines for almost all of the matches with the exceptions of the ones that were decided today. So why don't we take a look at these and see if there's any value in any of these lines that have been published. Are you ready?
I'm ready. The top half of the draw is so tasty, though. I'm absolutely terrified to make a pick.
All right. Well, why don't we start with the Saturday matches? Argentina-France. France are the favorites on this match at plus 145. Argentina are plus 253. In terms of who's advancing out of the group, because obviously this could go to a draw at minus 205 and then have overtime penalties. You know, is it one? It's one period of overtime, Nick, and then penalties, right?
Two periods, 15 minutes.
250, yes, 30 minutes of overtime, and then,
yeah.
right, yeah, one 30-minute overtime in two halves. And then straight to penalties. So the draw would be minus 205. It's over 2, minus 105. Under 2 is minus 110. And but Argentina to advance is plus 125. France minus 145. Nick, I do like France for this match. I don't think this is going to go to penalties or overtime. I think France are going to win this in regulation. I think this is going to be a 2-1 scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to go with you. And, obviously the bookies know their stuff. And they see France as the favourites, and rightly so. I mean, this is a team, as we just said before the break, really hasn't moved out of second gear yet. Meanwhile, Argentina, I can't even imagine how much mental and physical effort they have exerted to escape a group that really they were favourites to advance from. I can't see how much is left in the tank for Argentina. If there's still trouble behind the scenes, which, I mean, there has to be. I mean, Sampaoli seems to have completely lost the plot and lost control of the team. And, once again, it all falls on the shoulders of Lionel Messi to get Argentina out. I think it's going to be a dramatic game. I think there's going to be a lot of drama, but I'm with you. France wins it, and I think they'll probably win it by the scoreline of 2-1.
All right, so we're in agreement on that one. Let's move to the next one. Portugal-Uruguay. Now, this is actually a much more interesting match right now than it would have looked at after the first day, after the first round of matches in the group. If you said Uruguay were going to play Portugal, you would have said, oh, that's easy. Portugal looked like world beaters, and Uruguay are really struggling. But Uruguay, Nick, has really grown into this tournament. And Portugal, while they've got they probably got the best player in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo. And you mentioned earlier, when it comes to pressure situations, I don't think there is any doubt that this is the best player in the world. But the supporting cast isn't quite that good at Portugal. The Uruguayans have an incredible striker up top, and they also have a fairly good supporting cast and have been growing nicely into this tournament. It's a tough one to predict, Nick.
Well, Uruguay is an absolute nightmare to play against. I mean, they're street footballers. They're very cunning. They know exactly what it takes to win games. They'll win games classily, and they'll win games, I hate to say it, by cheating. They've done enough. Portugal have kind of huffed and puffed a little bit, I mean, obviously the Spain-Portugal game was one for the ages, but they really had to grind for the win over Morocco, an early Ronaldo goal. And then Iran could have actually knocked Portugal out of the World Cup if in the last minute of the game that shot hadn't skewed wide. So I actually fancy Uruguay in this one. I think it will be a low-scoring game. But Uruguay to advance and take on France in the round of 16.
Well, Nick, I'm actually with you. It's terrible. Makes bad radio TV for us to agree on everything. But, we are talking about where to place your bets here.
I'll say Ronaldo's going to score a hat-trick and Suarez is going to get sent off.
Okay, there we go. We'll do the prop bets at a later time. But let's take a look here. Portugal plus 202, Uruguay plus 185 in regulation. which is interesting because Portugal are the favorites to advance, yet they are not the favorites to win the match. I don't know how that quite works, but oh well. The draw is plus 197. I don't see a draw here, Nick. I just don't see a draw. I think this is going to be Uruguay in regulation, and I think Uruguay are going to get through.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I could see a draw at the end of regulation and Uruguay winning. However, if it did go to penalties, you know, there's something special about this CR7 chap, and
yeah,
if it came down to him to win the game, you know, you know he's going to slap it in the top corner.
And I think that's why Portugal are the favorites to advance, but not necessarily the favorites to win the match. I think, you know, the bookies are recognizing that. And, you know, what an incredible player. I just have to say again, I mean, what an unbelievable player Cristiano Ronaldo is when it comes to pressure situations. Messi has his head down. Cristiano Ronaldo's head is up. You're looking at the veins in his neck throbbing, and, you know, looks like a giant muscle. But, you know, whatever. All right, let's go to the next match. Russia-Spain. Russia are long shots here at plus 597. Spain minus 162. Nick, this would be probably the upset of the century and would also make everybody on that side of the bracket smile even more. I don't see Spain losing this, though. I see Spain winning, and right now there's actually half-decent value, by the way, on Spain winning. At Spain winning the match at minus 162 in regulation.
Yeah, there's no way Spain lose this one, regardless of how they played in the group stages. Russia were the benefits of a pretty soft draw, and Spain, they're the world champions in 2010, European champions in 2012. They have a team littered with the best players. I mean, not just journeyman players, but the best players in the world. There's no way they stub their toe, even though home support's going to be great for Russia. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful day in the stadium. The atmosphere is going to be electrifying, but Spain's going to do enough. Whether they walk away with the game or whether they just win it 1-0 and keep the ball and bore everybody to death, but Spain to win this one.
I don't think you can do that with Russia, actually. I don't think Russia is the type of opponent when you can keep the ball and bore everyone to death, because they're very fast and athletic and not afraid to stomp you into the ground as they try to get to the ball. I'm with you. Obviously, I like Spain for this match, Nick. Minus 162 to win the match in regulation time. It's 2.5 goals. The over is plus 117. I actually like the over on this, Nick.
Yes, I'm going to go with you on the over as well, because Russia have a rather porous defense. Spain, when they get their act together in the attacking third of the field, create so many chances. So Spain and the over would be a very sensible wager.
Yeah, and a good thought is, remember what happened when Russia actually faced a decent team in their group. It did not go well for them. So, all right, let's go to Denmark, Croatia. Wow, Croatia minus 113, Denmark plus 419. Denmark are a long shot on this one. Denmark are plus 200 to advance, Croatia minus 240. I think at minus 113, though, for Croatia, once again, Croatia, I think, are seriously undervalued in this by the bookies here. I like Croatia. This is a team I think can go all the way. I'm going to take them at minus 113 to win this match in regulation, Nick.
Well, Croatia playing a European team is going to certainly ask some questions of the Croats. And as we've seen at Denmark, they might not be the most adventurous team, but we will get to have the privilege of watching probably three of the finest midfield players in all of world football: Rakitic, Modric, and Eriksen. Could Denmark produce a shock? I'm not going to put it past them. I mean, that my heart says that Croatia should win this game, but we are talking about the last 16, and you know, this has been a World Cup that has thrown up some surprises. If Denmark can get them to 90 minutes, I think all bets are off.
Well, I'm going to say under. I'm going to take the under. It's 2 goals. I'm going to say this is probably a 1-0 Croatia victory. It's not going to be a particularly high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think Croatia win it in regulation, Nick. How about you?
Well, I think there's going to be 2 goals in this game, and it's either going to be 2-0 Croatia at full time or 1-1. And then we're going to have the old drama of extra time and perhaps penalties.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Mexico, Brazil. Brazil minus 185. Mexico, long shot. Super value here for the upset, I want to mention, okay? Plus 654 for Mexico to win this match in regulation. I might have been tempted to actually put a little bet like that out for the first two matches for Mexico. But they look pretty awful, their third match, and pretty average. And Brazil seem to be slowly starting to get those cogwheels moving. This is another side that will rise to the occasion. As much as I want to say Mexico for this, I don't really see it. How do you see it, Nick?
Well, I think this is a great value bet if you're willing to take a flyer on Mexico, because I believe that Mexico play their best when they don't have to make the run-in. Brazil, as you just rightly mentioned, are massive favourites for this game. Mexico, huge underdogs. That takes all the pressure off Mexico and allows them to play with a little bit of freedom. Yes, they were terrible against Sweden, but that's because they were the favourites. And, once again, I hate to play stereotypes, but Mexico is better when they are an underdog. And, Brazil haven't been hitting the heights. Mexico did. Mexico showed against Germany that they are a team to be reckoned with if their A game is on. I'm going to say, Brazil, but I'm also going to tell the viewers and the listeners, if you've got a few dollars to spare, hey, go Mexico, take the odds, get the win.
I'm betting Brazil, but I'm betting Mexico. Small bet on Mexico as well. I'm going to play both sides of this one. I'm not going to touch the over-under. This could be a shootout or it could be a 1-0. I just don't know. It's 2.5 goals, plus 107 for the over, minus 122 for the under. The bookies are looking at this more of a low-scoring game. Let's move on, shall we? Last game that we're going to talk about today, because the lines haven't been published on the last games that were set out of today's results. We'll do those tomorrow. We're looking at Switzerland, Sweden. And for me, I like Switzerland on this one, Nick, although Sweden, quite honestly, have been looked very good as well. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Switzerland have lost a couple players to suspension, right?
Yeah, Switzerland have, all of a sudden, it's looking a little bit more difficult for them. And, I've been talking about the Swedish team since the beginning of the World Cup, and people are looking at me like I'm off my head. But they are rugged, they're determined, and they have this cohesiveness and team spirit that has come out to the fore on so many occasions. I actually fancy Sweden to upset Switzerland, but I don't think it's going to be a game for the purists.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is going to be a draw, Nick, and I think Sweden will win this in penalties. Or will advance. Actually, penalties or extra time. So I'm going to pick Sweden to advance. I'm going to pick a draw at plus 203. I'm going to pick the under at minus 123.
I think that's a great bet. I mean, I really fancy Sweden to in a penalty kick shootout as opposed to the Swiss.
All right, there you have it, folks. There are our choices for the round of 16 matches. As far as we can get, we'll do the rest for you tomorrow. This is Fifth Street Sports here on the Sports Byline USA SB Nation Radio Network. Find us on the web for more picks, more prognostication, more analysis. Find us at www.fifthstreetsports.com. You'll find everything there for your enjoyment. All right, we will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip, or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
Are you an inventor who would like to try to have an invention or idea patented and submitted to companies, but you don't know what to do next? Call for free information from InventHelp. InventHelp, a leading inventor service company, has been helping inventors since 1984 and has sales offices located in more than 60 cities nationwide. You'll want to talk to the company that has helped secure more than 7,000 invention patents. So call InventHelp. Even if you have an idea for improving an existing product and don't know where to go with it, you'll still want to call InventHelp for free information. You'll find out how InventHelp may assist you in trying to patent your invention and submit it to companies. So call now.
Call InventHelp at 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. Get your free information by dialing 1-800-316-1738. That's 1-800-316-1738. 1-800-316-1738.
Well, good friends, we thank you for tuning in. We will continue to bring you our World Cup coverage here on Fifth Street Sports, on the Sports Byline USA and SB Nation radio networks, as well as American Forces and TuneIn and iHeartRadio, and we're live on YouTube and Facebook Live. But Nick Webster, we're everywhere.
We are everywhere, and I'm sorry, you caught me in the middle of a big conversation with an England supporter. He was saying to me, do you think it's good that we lost and we're now in the bottom half of the draw? And I said, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, and it was a loss, Nick, that was not exactly an embarrassing loss. I mean, it was fine. I do just want to mention one thing, and we just got a minute here before we have to go, but I want to talk about Gareth Southgate, and I don't know, you're not going to be on the show with me tomorrow, right? We've got a special guest tomorrow, is that right?
Special guest, Tal Smith. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He's a good lad. You're going to like him.
Gareth Southgate, Nick, has impressed me with his maturity, with the way he relates to the players. And I was mentioning to our young producer, Andrew, here, that I think the one thing that he's doing that an older manager, Sam Allardyce or Roy Hodgson, wouldn't do other than taking graft, is listens to the players. He probably doesn't always give in to what they want, but he listens, and he's young enough and has a stellar playing experience enough that I think he gets their respect. You got about 25 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Football has changed, and it's changed because the players have changed and their mentality has changed. And you're absolutely spot on there, Nick. Gareth Southgate is a young manager. He understands where the players are coming from. He understands the pressures they're under. And the best thing about Gareth Southgate so far is that he's involved everybody in the squad. There's no favourites. Everybody's an England player. You're not the superstar. And that is why I think we're going to do very well in this tournament. Bring on Colombia.
Yeah, it's going to be fabulous. We got a really exciting round of 16 to look forward to, folks. Uruguay, Portugal, France against Argentina, Brazil against Mexico, Belgium against Japan, Spain against Russia, Croatia against Denmark, Sweden against Switzerland, Colombia against England. We're going to bring you all the action, all the analysis, all the prognostication, and most importantly, all of your great betting and value tips right here on Fifth Street Soccer throughout the rest of the World Cup. Be sure to stay tuned in to us right here every Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, and then again at 6 p.m. Pacific. For me, Nick Geber, my co-host, Nick Webster, we'll chat to you soon. You get a day off tomorrow, but then it all starts over the weekend. We'll speak to you tomorrow.
All right, Nick, you're clear. Great show.
USA Radio News.
Just after 3 o'clock Eastern Time, there was a shooting at the Capital Gazette newspaper newsroom in Annapolis, Maryland. Police have apprehended the suspect, and we are hearing there are multiple casualties. Lieutenant Brian Frazier is with the Anne Arundel, Maryland County Sheriff's Department. He updates us on the situation.
Unfortunately, at this point, I don't have any information on the suspect.